Dark, curly hair fell over her shoulders, hazel eyes, and plum lips. Vine strolled through the busy shopping mall, her laughter blending with the chatter of her friends. Her smile was a beam of sunlight. It made people fall in love with her from far away. At first, second, and every sight they had of her, she held her shopping bags and was having a good time when her friends decided to grab a quick snack. Wyatt decided to buy a few things for her husband in the meantime. It took her time. She wanted to buy something that would complement his beautiful physique. Her husband, no doubt, was the most charming and handsome man to ever live. She sometimes wondered if he was even real or she was married to an illusion. She contemplated hard on what to buy. Things seemed dull as she compared them to her handsome man, but she knew he had this ability to bring brilliance to anything he wore. She got a few shirts for him, a jacket, and a watch before she stepped out of the shop to enter another one, where they sold branded shoes. Lost in thoughts, she turned a corner, and there, standing in the aisle, was her past, an unsettling person she had hoped to leave behind. Mark, her ex, leaned against a display, a predatory grin on his face. Mark, well, well, look who we have here. Ryan, fancy meeting you. Vine's heart quickened, but she steadied herself, refusing to let the past painful memories consume her. Vian, Mark, what a surprise! Mark's eyes flickered over her, a mixture of obsession and resentment evident. Mark, you moved on pretty quickly, didn't you? Married another guy. What was his name again? Is he keeping you happier than me? Look at that smile of a cheater. Vian, that's none of your business. Mark, we are over, and I suggest you move on too. Mark, move on? How can I when you cheated on me? And now you're playing happy families? Vine squared her shoulders, the echoes of his manipulation and abuse fueling her strength. Her hands shook as she gripped the bags tightly. He had the audacity to throw the blame on her after continuously abusing her. Vian, I never cheated on you, Mark. I left because of your lies and cruelty. Mark scoffed, his anger bubbling to the surface. Mark, lies? Cruelty? You were mine, Vian, and now you're his. You have always been a cheater. She needed to get away as soon as possible. She wasn't a weak person. She could face this, but the trauma from the past had started to paralyze her. All the flashbacks were so near to hit her. Vian, step aside. Mark, seething with rage, grabbed her arm, his grip tightening. Mark, you can't just walk away from me. You owe me everything. Vian winced, memories of the past flooding back, but she refused to let fear control her. Vian, let go of me, Mark. I don't owe you anything. Mark, you think you can just replace me? I won't let you forget what you did. As he shouted, Vine's friend sensed the tension and rushed over. Some people started to stare as well, and Vine wished to disappear before it all turns into a scene. She hated attention. Mark, desperate to maintain control, lashed out verbally. Mark, you're nothing without me, Vine. He'll see what a mistake he made. Maha, back off, man. She's moved on, and so you should. Stay away from her. Mark, this isn't over, Vine. He grit his teeth and let her arm go, knowing it will only put him in further danger. The echoes of Mark's harsh words lingered in Vine's mind as she hurried home, her heart pounding. The home surely offered some solace, but the trauma of the encounter clung to her like a persistent shadow. She rushed to her bedroom, locking the door behind her, seeking refuge in the familiar. But she missed the fact that her husband was home and had been calling her as she rushed to her room. Inside the room, she sank to the floor, her breaths uneven, memories of the past abuse flashing before her eyes. The weight of it all became overwhelming, and the room seemed to close in around her. She hugged herself, trying to ward off the haunting memories, but all she could hear and see was abuse, taunts, cries, and pain. She screamed and backed off against the bed, feeling his touch all over her. She felt a hand closing in around her neck, drawing her out of her breaths. She screamed and cried, trying to remove the invisible hand off her neck to resume her breathing. Jungkook senses the shift in his Vine's demeanor, approached the locked door with concern etched across his face. Jungkook, Vine, love, open the door. Let me in. Jungkook, princess, please, I'm here for you. Let me help. Open the door, let me in. No one is going to hurt you as long as I am here. The sound of Jungkook's voice, caring and steady, began to cut through the haze of anxiety. Vine hesitated, torn between the instinct to shut everyone out and the desire to let someone in who truly cared. Jungkook, you're not alone, Vine. We face everything together. Open the door when you're ready. Minutes stretched into an eternity as Jungkook patiently waited outside the door. He could feel her pain, her struggle, and he was determined to be the anchor she needed. Jungkook, I want you to open the door. Please. The door opened up and Jungkook entered the room and sat beside her. He saw the condition of his wife. Messed up hair seems like she had been pulling on them. He brushed his fingers through them gently, setting them back in their place. Jungkook, You don't have to face this alone, Ryan. I'm here for you, always. Tell me what happened. Ryan leaned to Jungkook's comforting presence, tears streaming down her face. He wrapped his arms around her, offering a heaven in the storm of her emotions. Ryan, he he said such awful things. Jungkook's hand, which was stroking her arm, stopped where it was. It was for a minute second before it resumed. He knew whom she was talking about. He knew about her ex. It angered him. She wasn't supposed to meet that man again and go through pain all over again. Jungkook, I'll make sure nothing like this ever repeats. You are my wife, and I know how to protect my woman. He cupped her cheeks and made her look up at him. Jungkook, do you trust me? She nodded, and he kissed her forehead. Before kissing her tears away, he kissed her head twice again, and she slowly melted in his arms. As Vine rested in Jungkook's embrace, he gently wiped away her tears, his touch tender and reassuring. Vian, I brought gifts for you. She got up, decided to light up the mood, since he was trying his best as well. She showed him the shirts she brought for him first, and asked him to wear one of them. It was a simple white t shirt, but once he changed into it, it was tied around his torso and chest. She got flustered when she saw how it got stretched around his muscles. She was sure she got the right size. It only meant one thing: he was hitting on Jim more than before. Ryan, Lord, have mercy on me, she muttered, and he smirked. He warned him the watch as well, and Jungkook absolutely loved how well she knew of his choice. He kissed her, his hand resting against the nape of her neck, holding her ever so gently, like she deserved to be held. Like a little strong grip, and she would break apart. Jungkook didn't only know, but he acted upon it too. Protected and respected his wife. He placed her on the dressing top and continued to kiss her. She found solace in her husband's arms, who was there for her always. Later onwards, Jungkook filed a report against Mark for abuse and harassment. He was put behind the bars, and Vian once again felt safe to step out of home and enjoy her freedom.